Richard Engel, chief foreign correspondent for NBC News, announced on Thursday that his 6-year-old son Henry had passed away from a rare neurological disorder. "Our beloved son Henry passed away," Engel wrote in a tweet signed both by himself and his wife, Mary Forrest. He had the softest blue eyes, an easy smile and a contagious giggle. "We always surrounded him with love and he returned it, and so much more." Engel signed the tweet with a link to a Texas Children's Hospital page, titled Remembering and Honoring Henry, which included a link for donations to support research in Henry's name. Henry, who was born September 2015, was just an infant when Engel and his wife noticed that their son was struggling to hit typical developmental milestones, according to the tribute page. After a series of tests, they found that Henry had a mutation in his MACP2 gene, the mutation that is responsible for Rett syndrome. Rett syndrome is an incurable genetic neurological disorder that typically affects girls, but can also, in rare cases, affect boys. Rett syndrome leads to many developmental delays, including loss of speech and a variety of motor difficulties. The International Rett Syndrome Foundation reported that the genetic neurological disorder occurs in 1 of every 10 female births, and can be recognized in children between 6 to 18 months old. Most babies with Rett syndrome seem to develop as expected within the first 6 months of life, and are not typically diagnosed at this age. Parents and doctors may not notice a slowing of development until their child is older, but over time, children with Rett syndrome may experience increasing problems with motor skills, coordination, and communication. The Mayo Clinic also states that other symptoms of Rett syndrome include unusual hand movements, seizures and breathing issues. Rett syndrome can often be misdiagnosed as autism, cerebral palsy, or a non-specific developmental delay. Blood testing can confirm the presence of the MACP2 mutation which causes Rett syndrome. However, the MACP2 mutation is also seen in other disorders, so a Rett syndrome diagnosis requires additional clinical testing based on observed signs and symptoms. There are 6 stages of Rett syndrome, according to the International Rett Syndrome Foundation. The first is the early onset stage, which occurs at 6 months to 1.5 years when symptoms of the disorder are easily overlooked.